Hey, what's up? I'm here with Mike from Stained. Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to Canada. You were just telling me you were in Edmonton, correct?
Yeah, Edmonton and Calgary and Red Deer.
Right on.
Yeah, all over the west there. Made our way back east here to see you guys.
Do you guys like coming up here?
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, it's everybody's like, oh, we got to go to Europe. It's like, well, go to Canada. It's just north of us. I mean, it's so easy.
Yeah. Go up to Montreal. I guess that's very European.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you're in Toronto. You're talking about the new record.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about, I guess, the decision to get heavy again, man.
Well, it was something that, I mean, Aaron mentioned it before the last record that's what he wanted to do. And we got together to do the last record, and I just really wasn't writing, that kind of music at the time. And he liked, what I was doing, and it led to the last album, which I think was, pretty experimental for us, a lot different than stuff that we've done before. We tried a lot of different things on it. And I mean, at least for me, being able to get that out, I think allowed it to be able to move on to do this, kind of go back to where we came from and, really look at, why we started as a band.
To change the direction, I mean, it started happening, I guess, for you guys on the third record. And, was at the time when you guys made the shift, was it for me, I used to listen to heavy music all the time. I was telling you off record there that I was, always listening to that stuff. And I just sort of wondered if you originally made the shift because, you get older and you play this stuff and, you can't listen to heavy stuff all the time.
I always liked the diversity. I mean, that was the one thing that I always liked about our band was that, we had heavy songs, but it wasn't always just that, onslaught of heaviness, But I think for me, a lot of it's influences. I mean, I started playing guitar because of folk music like James Taylor and Harry Chapin and stuff, and I've always loved that, so the fact that, Aaron has a voice that obviously lends itself to being able to do that also, and I write a lot of different styles of music, so it's just fun to be able to do.
So now when we're going back to the heavy, you're also a fan of Dimebag Darrell.
Oh man, yeah, totally, yeah.
And Pantera. So I guess let's talk about a couple songs on the album. Not Again would be the first single people have heard, and the video's out. And I like the video because you guys aren't in the video.
Well, I mean, we're playing in it.
But I just feel like it's about the music more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, videos. I mean, what?
Yeah.
We were just talking, and it's like,
why?
Yeah, why? I mean, look, it's cool for your fans to go online and be able to see it, and that's really what it's turned into. There's really no place that plays them anymore, and everything's really gone to just being on the internet.
What was it like to watch that happen? As a musician.
I don't know. I mean, I think, the worst part of it is that, just the state of the music industry and what it is. I mean, and even in the States, just rock music. I mean, it's real difficult, and it's just not getting any easier, So, I mean, look, we just, we're fortunate enough to still be here, 7th record, and, still working hard and doing the best we can.
Now, I watched some of the documentary about the making of the record, right? Yeah. And, just talk about where you guys are at now as a band.
Sure. It's brutal to watch, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pain. I can't even watch it. Yeah, it was a tough record to make,
I mean, kudos to putting it out, though.
Well, it's funny. I won't mention any bands, but a band recently put out a record. They had a DVD, and we had done it before, And I said, I'm going to watch this and see. And they're all just these fluff people, you know what I mean? Everybody sits down, everything's great, and ours is not that. I mean, it's the reality of how difficult this record was to make, losing a band member while making it.
Yeah.
And look, we filmed it, and we felt, we're just going to, put out there what it's like and, what it was like. But where we are now, I think we're pretty good. We got a new drummer, and we've been playing gigs, and, we're moving forward.
What does it do with a new drummer? And I guess talk about it, because you had Will fill in.
Yes.
So do you have a touring drummer, or do you have somebody officially in the band?
Even, our original thought was we're going to give it a minute before anybody becomes a real member of the band at this point. I mean, we just, after being with, the same drummer for 16 years, we said, whoever it is, let's get through this record cycle, and then we'll address where in the big, picture you fit. And right now it's a gentleman that worked for us for years as our drum tech, and he's just a great drummer. And so he's playing drums for us now, Sal Giancarelli, and he's doing a really good job of it. So that's kind of where we are right now.
What does it do, after 16 years when you have somebody new behind the kit?
It's different. It's
Yeah.
really different. Yeah, for sure. Like you said, Will came and filled in. Will's great. Playing with him was awesome, and playing with Sal is too. And it's even from Will to Sal. I mean, Will did like 3 shows with us. We did a couple rehearsals with him, and then Sal came in, and it's different again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody brings a little something different to the table. But there was those years and years of playing with John that we were used to.
Did it refresh you guys a little bit? When you have somebody back there who's playing stuff, kind of new for them.
Sure. I think at first it did. You know what I mean? It definitely felt that way when Will came in and we were doing and playing with him. And the same thing with Sal. We did some rehearsals with him, and I definitely think it did bring a whole new thing to it.
Tell me about Snoop.
We have the song where I actually was. We had a deadline for the first time on this record that we had to meet, which we've never had. Okay. And I literally was hearing some of the songs like the last day as they were finished. And one of them was a song that turned out to be called Wannabe. And, the producer came in, and we were working at 2 different studios, basically just because it's a lot easier for me to get to rehearsal space to record than where Aaron records. Yeah. And Johnny's like, yeah, he rapped on this. And I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, no, he rapped on this song. I go, what are you talking about? Aaron rapped? He's like, yeah, he's rapping on it. And then he played it. And I mean, like you said, if you saw the documentary, I was not in a good spot by the end of this thing. And I was just like, shut it off. I don't even want to hear it, And I said to the camera, I go, shut off the camera. And I stepped away for a few days and I listened to it and I realized that I really liked it. I mean, it's different. I mean, it's actually comical. You know what I mean? Aaron's version is really comical. I think it's really good. But he always wanted somebody else to do it. So we reached out to Snoop, and, he said he would do it. And he did the first and the second verse, and he killed it. I mean, it sounds great. I mean, it's like, but I mean, it's really aggressive Snoop, like with layered vocals. I mean, it sounds like something I've never really heard him do before. Sweet. I mean, it's really cool. But what happened was, it was only the verses, and there was nothing else to the rest of the song. And we're like, it needs to be more. It just ends. So he finally, I think last week, just finished it, but it wasn't in time to put on the record. So we had a deadline, and we never met it. So we have this other version that I guess we'll probably just end up putting out. You know what I mean? So there's going to be 2 versions of the song.
So Snoop Dogg, like for fans, they will hear it.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's great, but it's just a different version. He didn't do Aaron's lyrics; he did his own lyrics. Cool. And then Aaron comes in partway through the verse. Didn't mean to hit your mic.
Yeah, it's all good.
Sorry.
Had you crossed paths with Snoop before, or was it just sort of we're going to randomly email this dude?
Yeah, more the latter. I mean, I remember we ran across him once, and I actually think we did that MTV Icon for Metallica, and I think he was there. Yeah. I think that was the only time I've ever run across him. I think Aaron also. I don't know.
To put Snoop on your record would have been awesome, but even just to do a song with that guy has got to be. I mean, to hear it back, you're just like, you got Snoop on your song? Like, that's wild, man.
No, seriously. I mean, like, I'm not a huge rap guy, but I own Snoop records. I own Dr. Dre records. When those first came out, early 90s, I was totally in.
Those are heavy albums.
NWA, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah. Public Enemy.
Yeah, Ice Cube. Yeah. Totally.
Okay, so I have to ask you about the Bruins. Congratulations.
Stanley Cup winners, you mean?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Hey, man. I went to a game. I went to a Habs Bruins game in Boston, and I love it because you can get Guinness at Fenway Park, and you can also get Guinness at is it TD Place? I believe?
TD Bank. Yeah.
Are you a hockey guy? Are you a baseball guy?
Baseball and football mostly. I hop on the bandwagon for the playoffs. So I actually went to Game 3 of the Stanley Cup.
Did you?
So yeah. Which is where really I think everything got turned around.
Totally.
Was at Game 3. Yeah. They blew them out, and that was awesome. And but yeah, get to Fenway whenever I get a chance, and So I'm not going to talk about the last few days, what happened up here. So
whatever. Enjoy the playoffs.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Did you play? Did you play sports? I guess growing up, or were you?
It's funny. I started playing guitar at 6. So I've did that, and I played baseball for a minute, maybe like 2, and I wasn't good. You know what I mean? It just was one of those things. Running to catch a ball and it goes over your head, and you run as fast as that would have been me. So.
I can't remember the last time I played baseball, but I really want to get like a the beer league.
Yeah, no, for sure. But we'll play on the road. We bring gloves and balls out.
Do you guys?
Balls out, and
sweet.
if we have like a big field, we'll have a bat and hit fly balls and stuff. No, so I mean it's and I got a little boy now, so I got to try and help him to figure it out.
I mean, after if you're touring, you guys have been at it for 16 years. I'd imagine you gotta do stuff like that. Right,
it's fun for sure. Definitely, it's kind of breaks up the same old thing every day that you do every day.
Let's talk about Paper Wings.
Sure.
That's a pretty heavy tune.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that song. What's going on with Aaron there?
Yeah, he's definitely angry. And I think that
like out of the gates angry.
Yeah. There's a long story behind that song. That song started off as something completely different that we had recorded, and it was this real heavy riff that went into like this kind of like clean picked thing, and everything Aaron sang over it, Johnny, the producer, was like, it sounds bluesy. I said, well, let's change the verse. And we ended up in one afternoon completely rewriting the song entirely from what it was into what is now Paper Wings. Wow. There was not one riff or note of what originally it was is left of it, and it became that song. And Aaron and I were really butting heads on it because he took it and he made the bridge, the verse, and took out the verse that I had written. And he basically moved all these parts around. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And it came down to the end, and that's what he sang over. And and now it is what it is, and I appreciate it for what it is, But that song caused a lot of drama, for sure. But I think that, in listening to Aaron, he's basically that, a lot of the aggression and anger comes from even just the frustration of making the record and what was going on in the studio at the time.
I think that tension, you can hear it,
yeah.
But it adds to it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's not something you can really fake, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. And I think everybody asks, they know about the documentary and what it was like to make the record. Like, oh, how did that translate into, the album? And lyrically and vocally, it definitely did.
So, when you play this stuff, and you're playing the darker stuff, and there's tons of it in Stain's catalog, do you guys have to go to a space when you get on stage and you have to bring yourself to that dark space? Or are you able to just sort of do it and not think about it?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Probably more so for Aaron because it's mostly the lyrical content, you know what I mean?
He's got to shoulder that weight.
Totally. I write riffs and come down and play them. He puts that on.
The fun part.
I don't know. But, so I would say, more so for him that, that might be the case.
But yeah, you've been with him for 16 years. Are there days where he's having a great day and then he does a show and he's singing about a lot of stuff? Is he able to sort of separate the two?
Yeah, no, dude, he's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think, and we were actually talking about it about 2 days ago when we were hanging out, and he's just like, everybody has me, pinned as this miserable person, and it's like, the lyrics are a way to get that out.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's just this part of it.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody knows, and there's other parts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But that's what they see is the the getting all of that out off your chest type of thing.
Another song that fans have heard already is The Bottom.
Yep.
That was involved in the Transformers soundtrack. Are you a Transformers fan?
It's cool. We were actually, I think we did the end credits to the second movie too.
Yeah, that's right. You guys were on, you were on the second soundtrack. So it's been two.
Yeah.
Talk about, when you do a movie like that, it's kind of a no-brainer these days for bands.
Sure.
I just wondered if you had seen the movie, and then when you see the movie, because I'm a big Transformers guy.
Sure.
And I went to the third movie, I was pissed.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah,
you didn't like it? Wasn't?
No, I didn't like it, man.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I don't know.
But when you, okay, so I can't. My question is invalid.
You can ask it. And I'll
yeah,
just.
I was just gonna say if you're part of a soundtrack and then you go see the movie and you don't like the movie,
right,
what goes through your head?
We were just asked to have a song for it.
Yeah.
And we had a song. We did the record, and it's funny the way that music was. It just sounded so mechanical to me. I thought it fit.
Don't get me wrong. The fighting robot scenes, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in, and that's where. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Anyways, that's my stupid Transformers geeky question. I apologize.
It's all good, dude. It's all good.
What are you listening to these days, man?
Sports talk radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not really.
Yeah.
I'll put the radio on from time to time and try to hear what's new.
Who are some of your favorite bands? Bands. It doesn't have to be necessarily new stuff.
Yeah.
Older stuff. Like, do you have your staples?
Sure, absolutely. Like Soundgarden to me is, they have a new record coming out.
You guys work with Terry Date.
Yeah, no, for sure, exactly. Huge. So psyched to get him when we did. He did all the Pantera stuff too, which was, and Deftones.
Deftones?
The guy's awesome. Rage, I've always loved Rage. I mean, you know, one of my favorites.
Best concert I've ever been to, man.
Yeah, sure. Tool. I mean, you know, Alice in Chains. I mean, that's, you know, the new stuff's great.
That new Alice in Chains record, they pulled off the impossible.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. There's some great songs on there.
I guess my last question would be, I told you I was going to ask you this, but you know, tell me about, you know, when Stain first broke, and you know, Deftones were, you know, Biscuit and Korn, and everybody was, you know, Family Values, Cube.
Yeah, right.
You know, what was that time like? I mean, did you know that you were, you know, when you were making the music, did you know that it was, you were doing something special and people were connecting to it? You know, when you were writing this stuff, or did it all just sort of?
Yeah, no, you don't know. I mean, you know, it's, in fact, I mean, you talk about Aaron's lyrics and stuff, and I remember when, you know, Dysfunction came out, and, you know, how personal some of those lyrics were.
That was a heavy record.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, you write that in, you know, sitting in the basement of my house, and you realize that millions of people are going to end up hearing this and, you know, and relating to it. And, you know, you kind of write it when we were playing for just clubs in Western Massachusetts, you know what I mean? You don't realize what impact it's going to have, you know? So, but yeah, it was a great time. And I remember the first time we saw the Deftones, they played a club in Springfield, Mass that we used to always play and sell out. And they played like, there was like, I mean, I'm not even sure Adrenaline had come out yet. Oh, wow. And they were handing out like 2-song cassettes. You know what I mean? That's how long
What's
ago.
a cassette? No.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And but they played that show like it was 20,000 people at Madison Square Garden, and to 25 people, and it was just blown away. And it was just like, you know, I'm getting actually goosebumps thinking about it. How just great they were.
Was there a camaraderie there? You know, with all the bands, and you know, did everybody sort of know that this was happening? You know?
No, because we weren't even signed at the time.
I guess so. Right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So they were definitely before us. You know.
But when you guys hit Family Values and, you know, that chapter.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I mean, I always knew those. I mean, always felt very fortunate to get those tours. Yeah. You know, like even I remember the first time we got a Korn Sick and Twisted tour. I mean, in '95 when we started playing Springfield, you had to play covers. We used to play for half of Korn's first record. You know what I mean? In bars. Yeah. And we always played originals, but if you wanted to get that Friday night gig, you had to play other people's stuff. Yeah. So, you know.
You still throw the odd cover in there?
No, we absolutely do. Well, you want to know the funny part? When we did that Sick and Twisted tour, which I actually think we played here at the Rogers Center.
Skydome.
Skydome. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Correct me. I'm from...
It's the Rogers Center. You're right.
Yeah.
We just call it that because I'm old school like that.
No, I hear you. Yeah. And it was then, too.
It's a better name. It's a better name.
I agree. Yeah. But we used to go up in the middle of Korn's set and play a Korn song. They would take a break. And we'd go up and play Need To in the middle of their set.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. They would leave the stage in the middle of the set. We'd come up. Monkey would hand me his guitar. Yeah. And we'd play a Korn song.
That's
and they
cool.
Would take a break.
That is cool.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Nice. Dude, thanks for your time.